do well. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Sarah. We'll see you again.
Hello, it's
Still out on
Deal,
street signs.
Mr. Intermarket Analysis, bringing you a review of the FTSE 100 going into Friday's trading, the 20th of December 2013. Okay, today, let's see what happened today. Okay, so I've called for the markets to fall from the open, and that's exactly what happened today. So good news. So that was good, given my analysis, obviously overnight. So yes, markets sold off, but the first part of the trading plan certainly worked out as expected. The second part didn't, but I wasn't in the trade by then. I'd take my profit. And I was out of the FTSE itself anyway. So yeah, close of plus 25, and so yeah, good day, good day overall today. I mean, 145 points for the week. Although obviously on the fundamental analysis plus 90 points, so 235 points for the week so far. So good performance this week. Last week was 450 points. So on both the services. So I've got a day left. Let's see what I can do. Very unlikely to beat the 450, but again, you never know. I've taken a new trade in the live on the fundamental analysis service. I've got a swing short now on the FTSE. I'm targeting 6100 going into next year, and that trade has been triggered. Started to enter around the 6561 level. I've got an average now around the 6566. I'm happy with that average, and certainly look for the markets to move down. Okay, so 6100 going into next year on the FTSE. Okay, so let's have a look at the 10-minute, 60-minute, obviously charts at present. So let's have a look at why the fundamental analysis is forecasting 6100, mainly due to the H&S formation. You've got topping tails there, confirmed horizontal resistance there. Okay, you've got left shoulder, right shoulder's gone in, given the fact that we're tapering. We've started to taper now, which is between 5-10 billion. Okay, so that certainly takes the wind out of commodities. Commodities, obviously, like as the likes of gold, as you've seen today, tumbled. Copper came under pressure. Oil is under pressure. Aussie obviously got hammered due to obviously gold going lower. Kiwi dollar obviously came under pressure. The euro has slid, although the euro I'm currently long at present. Given obviously after the US jobless claims, I do expect an uptick there and move higher on the euro. But yes, overall, yeah, we are looking good. We are not looking good at present overall. Okay, so just keep an eye on that, folks. Keep an eye on that. So basically looking for this thrust lower. Okay, that's basically the conclusion there. Looking for a thrust lower here, and H&S will play out. That's basically my obviously analysis. Now it does incorporate a lot of variables. It's not just as simple as okay, yeah, that chart is has a right shoulder, obviously 38% fib retracement, etc., etc. There are a lot of other variables involved. Okay, again, if you want to learn those variables and understand why I come to that conclusion, then obviously take the mentoring program, which you're more than welcome to via my website. Okay, so you can always visit my website, which is Intermarket Analysis, or Intermarket-Analysis.com. The details are all there regarding the fundamental analysis service, which is free at present for the next month or two. Certainly watch that. 4 trades so far on that, plus 220 points net, and it's only been running since December the 8th. So it's been, what, 11 days, and I've already nailed 220 points on that. All trades are in real time, stop losses, entries, exits, all given, and updates and trade management as well. Okay. That's for free, so if anybody wants to monitor my performance on that, feel free to. Okay, mainly swing trades, trying to target between say 200 to 300 points. Obviously, if the bias changes and there is a shift in etc., etc., I'll certainly update you on that as well. Okay, live analysis service, obviously day trading. Obviously, I've been nailing 200 points a week now for the last God knows how 7 years now. It's been that long, unbelievable. Okay, so it's been a great journey, and always willing to help individuals on a day-to-day basis as well, especially those that are more active. I want to try and nail these markets. Okay, so yeah, so that's going well as well. And obviously the mentoring program, you can go onto there, the video explaining how I teach via Skype, etc. There is 2 more services that I may well be bringing out next year, because there are some individuals that are very heavily fundamental based, very technical based. So I'll try and create some sort of mentoring program just for fundamentals, and a mentoring program just for just for technicals. Okay, so yeah, that's something to look forward to next year. Okay, so right, so yeah, weekly chart HNS formation. Okay, so let's get back to work. Okay, so daily chart. Obviously, we're in the upper channel resistance, downward sloping, obviously expanding wedge. We're in that resistance zone there. Keep an eye out for that, folks. Okay, is there any horizontal resistance at present? Nothing that I can really see, to be honest. Nothing really, other than the fact that you've got a level around here, which will be key. That again will coincide with 6630 level. Other than that, I can't really see any previous horizontal resistance. Okay. So one could argue that there is a pocket. Obviously, if you break through that, I've certainly taken my trade. Obviously, I've taken a short trade on this, obviously, with subscribers. So looking for a move lower. Okay. And well, I've started to enter at 6589. So just to let you know. Basically, that's a trade that I have at present active. Also have a short bias on the Nasdaq as well. Obviously a trade short on that as well. Again, I shouldn't really be revealing this because it's part of the live analysis service, really. But just to let you know, I am definitely short on the FTSE at present and looking for it to go lower, and there's various reasons why. Okay, so basically symmetrical wedge, down we go. Okay. So not symmetrical wedge, falling expanding wedge resistance. Okay, trend line resistance, upper channel resistance, etc, etc, etc. Okay, so that's basically what we're looking at there. Okay, so let's have a look at the smaller chart time frames, micro time frames now. 60-minute chart, obviously inverted head and shoulders pattern. I explained in my video yesterday this can't play out. Why? Due to tapering. Fundamental catalyst is not there. The fundamental catalyst is against it. The inverted head and shoulders pattern, if you look at this pattern here, 6420 is the head, 6540 is the neckline. Obviously, that takes you to what, 6640 if I'm correct. Yep. Okay. Given the fact that you've got a unfilled gap that needs to be filled here at 6600. Excuse me. Gap that needs to be filled there, folks. Okay, so watch out for that. That gap certainly needs to be filled, so that's something that we focus on. Okay, so that's going to be solid resistance. We're into 200 MA resistance. We're into trend line resistance as well. So this key trend line from here going down into that resistance as well. One could certainly argue you've got this resistance level here. Okay, where we gap down on the day. And obviously previous support equals resistance as well. So around this 6590 level, which obviously just a level that I've entered to go short, a lot of resistance. Okay, so we need a catalyst for it to propel higher. Tapering isn't a catalyst, folks. Tapering is actually a bearish catalyst. Why? I mean, look at gold smoked, copper hit hard, oil under pressure. Okay, Aussie dollar smacked, Kiwi dollar smacked. Okay, risk off. Okay, Japanese yen pairs into resistance. Okay, and struggling. Okay, so again, this is a few of the variables. There's a lot of other variables involved, but I can't, like I said, how much can I do in a video? So certainly resistance there, 200 MA. Inverted head and shoulders will fail, will not reach target, and will obviously reverse. You've got a massive unfilled gap below here at 6500 and 6480 to be precise. That gap will close on the FTSE. Certainly expect that gap to close and this pattern to fail, and if it have an emotive moves down, hence the reason why I'm swing short on the fundamental analysis service. Expect this pattern to fail, have an emotive sell off, and down we go to 6100 as the balls lick their wounds. Okay, so basically what do we have here then? So we basically had a nice HNS formation brewing here. Okay, you had the left shoulder here, you had the head forming there. The market had obviously pulled back. We were beautifully creating this right shoulder. Then obviously we were going to go down and close the gap below. Obviously the head was around the 6570, neckline was around the 6540. So obviously that gave you a target of around the 6510 and obviously lower. Okay, so 6490, which is the actual gap fill. So taking all that into consideration, the market's obviously short squeezed higher and moved higher. Why did they short squeeze higher? The reason why that right shoulder failed was because the jobless claims came in worse than the jobless claims data came in slightly, came in worse than expected, which reignited the QE junkies, okay, and caused the FTSE to obviously short squeeze higher. And also given the fact that obviously Barclays is quite bullish, the banking sector today was quite strong, okay. And like I said, I did forecast an inverted head and shoulders pattern. I am long on Barclays, and I'm looking for a target of around £3 to close that gap above, okay. Certainly watch out for that. Although the H&M inverted head and shoulders formation at present is obviously been negated there because we have exceeded more than 75%. But the pattern still, I mean, other than that, there's still a bullish pattern. Still, the pattern is quite strong, to be honest, given the fact that we've pushed higher, we've held the bottom, and we've created that double bottom there, etc. We did go as high as 260 today, so that's certainly a good sign. And we are building a base here to propel higher. So watch out for 266 soon, and obviously 274 on the upside. So keep an eye out for that. So yes, indeed. So the FTSE itself, like I said, this certainly has short squeezed higher. This squeeze higher is unjustified. Why? Because China was down heavily overnight. Hang Seng, Shanghai both lower. So if Hang Seng, Shanghai are lower, do you think the actual FTSE can go higher? No, it can't. Okay. So obviously the short squeeze euphoria post FOMC taper, etc., etc., still seems to be there. The Federal Reserve is intent on causing the markets to go higher. Even with the taper news, they made sure that their algos are working. It's a dirty game, folks. Once you realise how these central banks manipulate the markets, then it makes it easier for you to analyse, okay, and understand as well. So, given the fact that the Nasdaq as well, remember I did explain this to everybody that the Nasdaq itself has failed and held resistance. Obviously failed to move higher, propel higher, and has failed. And obviously you can see here held a double top, and we drop. And that's exactly what's happening right now. We gap down, we failed to close the gap, and the unfilled gap at 3512 remains. And this gap, I mean, look at that move in one day. I mean, 3425 to 3512, ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. What on tapering news? Not. I understand there was no taper on tapering news, so you just you have to question. You have to question exactly what's happening here. And that move itself is not logical. It's irrational. Look at that. I mean, that move there, that thrust higher, totally irrational. It just literally screams central bank manipulation all over. Okay, literally central bank manipulation all over that. Okay, so obviously we look to retest this level now at 3485. So watch out for that. Ideally, probably looking to move lower around the 200 MA at 3475. So again, watch out for that. Okay, and the SPR or SPY, SPDDR, again failed to close the gap. If the market's so bullish, then why didn't they close the gap? Why it didn't close the gap? Because the rally yesterday was nothing but a short squeeze. All the algos and central banks literally annihilating every bear that even attempted to short the market after the tapering news yesterday. They wanted to teach them a lesson not to come back. Okay, so again, I don't want to go into conspiracy theories, etc., but that's the reality, folks. If you want to deny it, that's fine. To carry on with your style of trading, it's not going to help you any bit at all. It's only going to create more frustration and anxiety, and you'll question your ability as a trader as well. So just bear that in mind. Okay, so first of all, what do we have here on the S&P 500? You clearly see here you got left shoulder, head, unfilled gap above, boom, and down we go. If you take the head here, 1812, project that down to 1800 level, 12 points below, you're looking around the 1790, which is the 200 MA. So this sucker is obviously coming down here. That obviously causes the FTSE to fall, and that's into market analysis. Okay, same thing with the semiconductors. As you can see, is that a bullish pattern? No, it's not. Okay, what pattern can you see there? H&S formation. H&S formation means what? The markets move lower. Yeah, okay, your left shoulder's there, head is there, the markets failed to move and create a higher or equal high, failed to create a double top. It's created a lower high. Lower high means failure. Bulls have lost control, bang, down we go. If we go down the Nasdaq, what happens to the FTSE? It goes lower. Okay, that's basically into market analysis. So just give you an insight there, okay, with regards to that. So certainly something to keep an eye on and focus on. Okay, so again, like I said, this whole move here was all literally central bank manipulation. They had to make, Mr. Bernanke had to make sure if he tapered that the market would not fall. Why? Because they want everybody buying into Christmas, and it's all about that Christmas spirit and keeping the sales higher, keeping citizens happy, and materialism, etc., etc. So that's basically how they operate and how they work. Okay, so this is why China. Have you noticed China is not falling for the rubbish? Okay, China does not looks through the noise. Hence the reason why the Shanghai and the Hang Seng are weak. Okay, and the only markets that are up, Japan. Why? Because they manipulate. Americans. Why? Because they manipulate. Okay, so once you realise that, it's very important for you to focus on the Shanghai index because it's a pure market, it's a free market. They accuse the Chinese of fudging data, etc., etc., but at least they have a pure and natural market of buyers and sellers. It's not distorted or manipulated by the Fed, for example, or their central bank, just so that they can keep the markets afloat and keep everybody spending going into the holidays. Okay, so that's basically why I look at the Shanghai index, and it gives me a true picture, a true reflection of what's happening in the markets. Okay, so I think that's enough now. I've got to go to the Whirling Dervish evening, so I'm going to call it a night there. And obviously I've got my shorts open, so looking for further downside. And risk on, risk off, wax on, wax off. And I'll have to add in one more comment, given the fact that we've had taper on, taper off. Goodbye.